welcome to episode 6 of Robed Ramen Reviews and the final part of the ramen box. Here today I have two ramens that aren't of one specified brand like the other two. We had in two pairs of two. For the final two, they don't follow a pattern. So over here we have the Nongshim Gourmet Spicy Shin Noodle. Now I've had the boil version of this before where it's a square that you put in boiling water and then eat that. But I've never had the microwave kind before, so I'm excited to see how this differs. And this, I can't read very much on this. All I'm able to see is samyang, noodle soup, and spicy flavor noodle. So, since I don't know a whole lot about this one, and I've tried another kind of this one, but not the microwave kind, I'm very excited to see how this differs. I'm very excited to find out what the heck this is. So without further ado, let's get into cooking these, let's get into eating these, and let's get into reviewing these. And I'm ready to jump straight into the mystery samyang. So I went ahead and already removed the packaging and struggled to find the instructions for your viewing comfort. In fact, the instructions are still unbearably small. You can find them right down there. So the first step is to pull back the lid halfway. Once more, I think I'm noticing a pattern with these. And now that it's folded halfway, we can take this packet out and go to the next instruction. The next step says to add boiling water, but I'm not going to attempt that for at least another few episodes. So, as for right now, we're just going to fill water up to the line and microwave it for 3 minutes. And let's microwave it. Our next step is to pull back the lid and add the flavor packet, and then obviously to stir and hopefully enjoy. Let's stir this and enjoy. So as I'm stirring this, I noticed that the noodles are pretty watery. There's a lot of water in this. The fill line was higher on this ramen than I've seen in a lot of these cup noodles. But that's pretty much stirred, so let's eat. Back at the table, the ramen is stirred and cooled down enough so that I don't burn my tongue when I'm eating it. And I suppose there's nothing left to do but start slurping this bad boy down. Or get overwhelmed by a massive load on your chopsticks and drop it off on the table. This time, let's hopefully actually eat it. There we go. You know what, this one tastes kind of similar to the spicy chicken flavor that we had last time, which is kind of interesting because I get vibes from that, but I also get vibes similar to the Jin ramen. Man, I really gotta get better at eating with chopsticks. Alright, I'll sort more in-depth opinions out after a few more bites. As the saying goes, time flies when you're having good ramen, and that's no different here. Following the pattern of the last 4 ramen, I've noticed it's just an elevated flavor of a pretty generic ramen, such as a standard Maruchan cup noodles, but a really solid flavor or better noodle quality. And though it's nothing super exciting or flamboyant, you know I'm all about that because of my exciting robe pattern and my exciting tone of voice when I do these shows. So for now, I'm just going to have to move on to the next ramen. And that noodle is going to be the Nongshim Spicy Gourmet Shin Noodle Soup. Now, as I've mentioned before, I've had the boil version of these before. However, I've never actually had the cup noodle, and I didn't know the cup noodle existed until I got this package. So I'm very excited to get this into the kitchen. However, there's one thing we must do before then. Based on the timing that this announcement has come in the video, some of you veteran viewers may know what's happening, and for those of you newbies here, it's milk time. Back to the store, got 2 gallons of milk, so we should be refilled for at least another few videos. So, let's drink up. And without further ado, let's cook the next ramen. Before we get into cooking this next ramen, I just want to take a brief moment to talk about why I might sound a little bit exhausted here. For one reason is, any take that I can redo, i.e. something that's not, me actually eating the ramen for the first time or pouring something in, I try to redo so that I can give you guys the best experience. And secondly, it is July in the southern United States, and I have to wear a robe on top of clothes, which means I'm very hot. So please forgive me if I die of heat exhaustion. The things I do for you guys are insane. So, without further ado, let's cook this. So, I've skimmed over the usual bits here, since you guys probably don't want to watch me open the lid halfway and add the soup base in again. So, I'm just going to do the fun part, which is stretching the sink out and pouring the water up to the fill line. Perfect. And you may have noticed that this is a much lower fill line than usual. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm sure we'll see when we eat it. So let's microwave this bad boy. So we can start stirring this thing. And I actually had to let this sit in the microwave for about 2.5 minutes after, because I ended up dropping a glass on the floor and it left a minefield in the kitchen that I had to take care of before I was able to eat this. But it's about stirred and glass is about cleaned up. So, there's nothing left to do except eat this. There's a pretty good smell coming from this one. Again, standard ramen. It smells a little bit oniony, actually. I can't really tell if that's onions or if it's hot water. There's a lot of different smells that emanate from ramens. But, I think I'm ready to eat this bad boy, so let's do it. Well, let's eat this then. Something oniony. You know, maybe I was right. Ooh, that has a kick. Not a super strong kick, but you can notice that it's definitely a kick at the end, as opposed to spicy when you just eat it for the first time. It has to sit in your mouth for a bit before it actually becomes spicy. But this one's pretty good too. I'll eat some more of this and then check back with you guys. So, about halfway through this ramen, I'd like to make a few more comments on it before I skip to where I finished it. This ramen is pretty good. Again, it still has that weird hint of onionness that I can't really pinpoint. I'm not sure if onioniness is the best way to describe it. It's just part of the taste with me kind of resonates with the taste of something with onions in it. So that's really the best way that I'm able to describe it. The spice, again, is pretty generic. It's more of a kick than it is like a hit as soon as you eat it. And there's not a whole lot of vegetables in there, and a lot of times those can add to the flavor. So maybe it's just a really good flavor packet, but I quite like this ramen. And yes, I'm not actually wearing the robe. It is very hot out still. But without further ado, here's my opinion when I've finished it. So after being done with this, I can definitely say that oniony was the word I was looking for. You know, when you finish eating something with a heavy onion or garlic flavor and it has that weird vibe that hangs towards the roof of your mouth, that's what I have right now. And maybe it's just hot water, but while I was eating this, I definitely started to get more and more onion flavor as I went to the bottom, as opposed to more and more spice flavor or more and more whatever flavor it happens to be as you get to the bottom. But the spice was pretty evenly distributed throughout. However, the onion flavor, or whatever it was, seems to be pretty condensed closer towards the bottom. So now that I'm finished with both ramens, we can move on to the final verdict, but only after I've had a nice glass of milk. Here we are with my last glass of milk of the day. Let's drink. Oh. Hi, Cashew. Well, let's move on to the final verdict. Welcome to the final verdict, where we rate the ramen on a number of different things, such as taste, smell, texture, and we hurry up and get this done so that I can take my robe off because it is very hot outside. So, we're going to go ahead and start with the ramen I've had most recently, like usual, which is the Nong Shim Gourmet Spicy Ramen. So the top half of this ramen was certainly much more enjoyable than the bottom half, because the mystery onion flavor started to get stronger and stronger until it eventually matched the spiciness towards the bottom. And I didn't see a mention of gourmet onion anywhere, I just saw gourmet spicy. So when the onion flavor starts to become equally strong, if not stronger than the spicy flavor, it kind of throws you off guard. Nonetheless, this ramen was still good, and the top half is able to bring the score up a little bit, where it just had, an onion hint instead of, dumping an entire onion in there along with the spicy sauce. So right now, I'm going to give this ramen a 6.5 out of 10. And now we move on to the Samyang. Now this Samyang ramen, there isn't really a lot to say. For the 6th time, this is a generic flavor. It's just a very good version of the generic flavor. I'm sure you don't need me to explain it. Unlike the gourmet spicy ramen we have over here, there wasn't a weird onion flavor that distracted me from the point or that made it a little more interesting to talk about. But I suppose the interesting part to talk about is that there's nothing interesting to talk about. But without further ado, let's give this guy a 7 and move on. Thank you for watching today's episode of Ramen Ramen Review. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can see videos in the future. And if you didn't like the video, make sure you leave a comment down below on how I can improve. However, that's not all we have for today's video. Recently, I was gifted these Packy Ghost Pepper Chips. On the back here, it says, "We're bringing the heat, and it hurts so good. Do you dare?" And there's also a meter that lists the spiciness level. It says freaking hot, and though I don't condone the use of violent language on this show, such as freaking, I felt the need to here, since it was explicitly stated on the back of the box. However, you know me, I'm Redacted, the Robe Ramen reviewer. I'm not equipped to handle these chips, so I'm going to have to go to my good friend Expunged, the chip reviewer, and let him handle it. Without further ado, take it away, Expunged. Thank you, Redacted. Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know, I'm Expunged. I handle chip reviews around here. I'm part of Redacted's specialized team for when he reviews different food items. And today we're going to be taking a look at these packaged chips. Now, when we first open these up, they're not quite as red as I would imagine. In fact, they have a pretty basic Dorito color. They don't smell super exciting. They kind of smell like they're kettle cooked, as opposed to what usual potato chips taste like. But other than that, there's nothing much to say, so let's eat one. Pretty good texture. Pretty spicy, very spicy. Excuse me. Very, very spicy. It doesn't look it because most of the top spicy chip brands you see are dark red. But here they were able to incorporate the ghost pepper flavor in a bright orange chip. But yes, this is very spicy and very good. I quite enjoy these chips. It says here on the back that there's a chance to win a prize from the middle flap. However, I don't see any prize anywhere. Oh, is this it? No prize. Well, we didn't win a prize, but we did win a great bag of spicy chips. So, I'm going to give these chips a 3.5 out of 5. They're good chips. And now let's wash it down. Me, expunged, unlike my friend Redacted, likes to wash down my drinks using protein shakes. So, let's have a drink. Delicious. Thank you guys for watching today's special episode of Chip Review. If you enjoyed today's episode of Chip Review, make sure you leave a like so that I can come back on the show. And I'll take over for Redacted and end the episode here. Bye-bye.